Hey, what is up guys? Massive here, back to do another video, and today I've got a awesome game on Desert Field. I'm going to be playing as the Reaper 17 or Scrin. It's one or the two. We'll know if I press the R key. I'll be able to see if I have a growth simulator or accelerator. It's going to be accelerator, so I'm going to be Scrin this game. And my opponent will be playing as the vanilla Nod. Now there is 2 spikes per player on this map. There's also a blue Tiberium field located in the middle of the map. Both players have access to a mutant hovel as well, but it's not too useful as a Scrin faction. You don't have anything to garrison with, no APCs or no reckoners, nor can you put them in many garrisons on this particular map. Anyways, I'm going to open up with a couple of disintegrators. Going to hope to harass my opponent's spikes, though at this present moment I wasn't sure if I could kill his spikes from the location I'm going to be attacking them from, because you see the terrain looks like it's blocking the line of sight of the infantry if I chose to attack with them. But no, that didn't turn out to be the case. When I attacked the spike, it just shot through the terrain and I could kill it regardless. But that was something I learned as I went. A lot of micro happening early on in this game. I got a buzzer on low HP, trying to lure this militant away from the disintegrators. See, it's right there. Doesn't take much to kill one militant squad, but at the same time it's going to be able to scout my infantry. He's probably going to make a buggy as well to defend his spikes. So the buzzer will get cleaned up there, and I don't think I've ever featured this map on my channel before. Maybe I have in a tournament series, but never in one of these formatted style of videos. Getting a spike early on is going to be a big win for me. That's going to deny him 600 credits per minute. The longer this game goes, the more that will amount to something. But he's going to be able to defend it off with a Shredder turret. Shredder turret's very effective, lots of AoE damage. And my force of disintegrators were forced to be pulled back. I split one of them off just to scout his base, see if he's going for a flame rush or a bike spam, which could be the case for Nod factions. Unscattered bikes, if there's 4 or 5 of them, will almost undoubtedly kill a harvester if you don't scout it. 3, I found you can stop without too much of a problem. Even if unscouted, there's the chance of you saving the harvester if you micro the harvester around the war factory while building a seeker. So you really need 4 or 5 as a Nod player to be effective with that rush. Before, back in the day, it was 3 bikes, but now it's 4 or 5. You need to build more than the 3 that was recommended back in the day. We're doing a corruptor with my harvester and seekers. It's a bit of a random choice, I know, but I thought, hey, corruptor, that heals my units. So if this harvester comes under attack, I need to pull it back, I can heal it up with the corruptor. I can also kill infantry with that corruptor, spawn visceroids nowadays, which is even better. And now these bikes are going to be focusing on this harvester, but I'm going to target it with the corruptor, try and heal some damage. Not a lot, because there's 4 or 5 bikes shooting at the harvester, so I'm not going to be able to make this harvester immune to that many bikes, but it's going to still force 1 or 2 extra shots on that half while I focus the bikes down with the seekers. Seekers getting healed up there. And so far this corruptor has not done as much damage as I would have liked, or much healing. But it's there, and you never know, it may make a difference. So already I'm starting things off in a very unorthodox manner. Plus while I've been chatting, I have teched up 2 tier 3 and I'm working on the shard launcher upgrade. I'm going for attenuated force fields and I'm going for shard launchers. He's going for 2 war factories. We know he has double war factory. We'll also bike buggy out on this map. Seeker shields are now online. I'm going to push to him with this drone ship to place down photon cannons, because not only do seekers get the shard launchers, but also photon cannons, and that substantially increases the DPS of the photon cannon. It goes from 3 projectiles to 15, so that's 500% more projectiles. But I think overall the DPS turns out to be something like 375%, so it's like 3.75 times better, if my math serves you right. It's somewhere along those lines. Shard launchers, I'm just going to wait until that is completed. He's going to have a significant eco advantage over me. If I use the scan, I will detect the refineries there, but In the case of Scrin, you don't get it for free, like the Reaper 17 faction. Shard Seekers now engaging this army of bike and Scorpion tanks. There's a lot of tanks here. I don't have the Stasis Shield. I could have powered down my portal early on and built a stasis chamber before pushing out with my drone platform, but I thought with just the upgraded advantages alone, I'd be able to push through, and I just about barely going to push through. I'm starting to place down these photon cannons too. There's the first of many photon cannons. There's a blue tip harvester there. He's going to get that back to base. Look at the damage inflicted by that photon cannon on the harvester. Will re-stealth because it is a nod one. These Seekers as well will help me detect the harvesters so these photon cannons can aim them down. I'm actually clicking on the photon cannons to target the Scorpion tanks. These Scorpion tanks are doing a lot of damage. Briefly offline on power. That's a lot of Scorps. I'm just not able to get the damage inflicted on them. With just 2 photon cannons and a handful of Seekers, he's got way more than me. Plus he's got the laser turrets of his own starting to be placed. He's bringing in Tiberium. I'm out of Tib at this point. And the tanks are getting destroyed one by one. But so are my Seekers. I'm trading lots of Seekers in the process for this. A third photon cannon comes down. And I don't think you guys have ever seen anything like this before. A 1-base photon cannon push with shard launchers versus 2 war factories. It is crazy, I know. But it was a response to his 2 war factories. And so far, is it working? Kind of hard to say. He has a lot of defenses that I'm struggling to take out. He's taking my Seekers out with these freaking laser turrets. If he has a operation center, he can even upgrade quad turrets and get a 4th turret on all of his hubs there, which will help him against these shard photons. But with a total of 4 shard photon cannons, he's going to need a lot of laser turrets to combat this. So far I have been left to my own devices. There's simply nothing here to push this force back. There's no beam cannons. There's no flame tanks. I don't think flame tanks are the answer. Maybe infantry, but again, that's pretty hard. I think beam cannons is the way to go, but it's difficult. It is difficult at this point. And there's a couple of Viceroys spawning. Viceroys coming out, but they will be targeted immediately by my own photon cannon. So their life was quickly taken out there by those photons. They take a lot of damage from cannon damage. Blue Tiberium has been cleaned up. We saw he took that early on. He's got a lot of Scorpion tanks, man. Like, this game is far from over. He actually, at this point, has an expansion set up on the left-hand side. He moved his MCV earlier. I haven't set up any refinery on this field, and I only have a handful of Seekers. This is not enough to push him. He has his tanks back there, and I'm sitting back just trying to pressure him enough so he pushes into these photon cannons. But he's not going to take the bait. He's not going to take that bait there. Second war factory, not queuing anything. He is recovering his eco in the meantime. Bring in some Tiberium. And now he has the Dozer Blade upgrade complete, so that's going to be a plus 20% armor increase on those Scorpion tanks. The reason that got buffed to 20% from 15% is to help in this exact situation against these shard shielded Seekers. Before, in vanilla, this would wreck Mark Kane, because Mark Kane didn't have any option aside from going for Scorpion tanks with Dozer Blades versus the shielded sharded Seekers. The extra 5% is going to help a lot against this rocket damage that the Seekers are inflicting. And you see he's taking them out very efficiently. Though trading against those Seekers is going to be costly with the photon cannons there to support. And I need to establish an expansion on this field. With only just a couple Seekers there, it's not enough for me. This Corrupt is doing a lot of work. It has promoted to the veteran status. And if anything, this game is a good showcase of the shard photon cannons, a seldom used defense. And it's rarely used in this kind of situation to harass your opponent, to push your opponent off his natural expansion. Providing there's no beam cannons and you push at the exact timing that you need to push, then it's a good idea. I think maybe if he had built a beam cannon or two, he could have maybe held that back. Hard to say. Hard to know for sure. I could have used the Stasis Shield. Speaking of Stasis Shield, that is available to me. I need to get another refinery set up because, again, he has a full expansion established. And Flame Tank back there too, just trying to kill my refineries. He probably is unaware that I have a refinery set up on this field. And now I'm pushing him into that corner, keeping him at bay. He scouts there with a militant squad, so he knows everything that's coming. Perhaps a transition to infantry would be a wise choice for Nod, or he could go for tier 3 upgrade laser capacitors. And then we see he has that full expansion. That actually worried me because he is a refinery ahead, and he also has double war factory, triple war factory in fact, so he can easily out macro me at this point, especially since I'm long leeching harvesting from that expansion of mine. Second war factory. And now what am I going to do against this? The good thing about Scrin warp spheres is that they don't have a war factory animation, so when you queue a unit, it just spawns immediately. There's no door opening animation, which takes a couple seconds to complete. That's why Nod war factories and Jedi war factories take a little longer to produce units. So even though it says on the description that the Scorp tank takes 8 seconds, in reality it's like 11 seconds or so because of the opening of the war factory door. Seeker's trading versus Scorpion tanks, and he has a surround on me, and that's going to force me to pull back. And once again, I'm going to find myself in a bad situation. I'm going to pull back there. I still have this upgraded advantage with the shard launchers. That blue field's starting to grow back, so maybe I can send a harvester there and take some of it for my own. We'll see. Another photon cannon gets dropped, and I've got a stasis shield available to me. If things get rough, I can always use that. And I've been able to split some Seekers off from my force. He's going to attack me in my main, and I'm going to keep him busy over here with my Seekers. And I'm going to attack the Harvesters. He has completely undefended Harvesters at this point. These Shard Seekers have made it into the base. I summoned in the reconstruction zones. That's going to make it harder for him to dislodge this attack. 2 of 3 Scorpion tanks is not going to be enough for him. And these Seekers are now working on those Harvesters. So many Harvesters going down. And whilst this is happening, I'm going to go for that blue type ruin field. And that was a good amount of damage dealt by me. I also blocked the reinforcements with my other Seeker tank army. And he has not really responded to this push well. I'm thinking maybe he could have used the mine drop support power earlier on. But Seekers detect stealth, so all I had to do was just press S on the keyboard to deny that. Stealth tanks are an obvious no-go. Avatars rarely work against Shard Seekers. Infantry can work, but I think maybe the best thing of all is to maybe get a couple beam cannons out, tech to tier 3, build an obelisk, charge the obelisk up perhaps with the 4 beam cannons. It stacks up to 4 beam cannons, and that will allow the obelisk to shoot at a maximum of 40% range further than normal. When it comes to unit variety of this game, Seekers is the best thing I have. There's no reason for me at this present time to transition into anything but the Seeker tank. He's going to be forced to sell off all those power plants there in his base. I've isolated him to the top left corner. I can even start targeting down these TIS bites because that's probably his income at this point. He's rebuilding harvesters. I destroyed a lot of them earlier, and I'm bringing in Tiberium from most of the map. Even the blue field is beginning to be harvested by me. And with that many Seekers, I have the opportunity now to attack. He definitely has to consider it himself because he can no way recover being passive at this point against a Scrin. But I don't have a tier 3. I haven't had my tier 3 since getting that shard upgrade. The sole purpose of me taking up earlier was to get that shard launcher upgrade, to trade effectively, to win these engagements cost effectively. So even though I lacked an expansion earlier on, because of how effectively I traded due to that upgrade advantage, I was able to recover and build up and get way more value out of my units. And now I'm considering a push here with all these Seekers. I've got a double warp sphere. And all I have to do is stasis half of those Scorpion tank army and move into the rest of them with my Seekers. The Seeker tanks don't have directional armor, so I can literally move into those tanks and not have to worry about getting hit in the rear. The Scorpion tanks, on the other hand, do take 50% additional damage from that rear due to the directional armor. And now, with the full surround of Seekers in his base, he can be forced to call the GG. And I thought that was a really cool game there on Desert Field. Lots of Seekers, one base shard launcher, push with photon cannons. When have you ever seen that, guys? That is something innovative and new, and I think it has potential versus not factions on maps that are small like that you can push on. Maps like Tournament Arena, I see potential for that working on, because it's likely your opponent will do the same thing on Tournament Arena. Tug of War Factory is probably even worse for the not player on that map, because they don't have the opportunity to leech that blue field. I remember I lost a Harvester at the start of the game, so I was really in a bad situation, but that shield and shard upgrade definitely pulled through for me, and that is going to be it. So I hope you all enjoyed that game, guys. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. And before I go, I'd like to thank all my Patreon members for supporting me and my channel and keeping this game alive through all the work I've done with the patch and R22. Anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace out.